definitely been a minute and then some since our last upload on anything like car build related. Just took quite a while to kind of get to that spot to where I'm set up and, you know, in a spot to be able to do that more. That's life, that's kids, that's family, but you know, it's all worth it. Take care of the important stuff first. But yeah, pretty excited at where we sit right now, mid-January 2020, so Happy New Year. But last year picked up a Z, which I'll go into more later, but it's basically ready to go. So that is, you know, I'm not used to having a car that's pretty much ready to go before the season starts, so that's awesome. I really want to get back into the S14 build, which is what we'll pick up with today. Probably kind of what went down last year when I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, which leads up to the current point now. And then also kind of alleviating some stress is I got a sweet new tow rig, so probably the best spot ever starting a season to do some driving. So yeah, I'd like to get back into it, and I don't know, get some videos made up, get some driving done, and some cars built. See in advance if the background noise is pretty loud. I am and currently driving said new tow rig, and it's a diesel, so it just has a little bit extra noise. So yeah, sorry if that's bad. We'll do something in the future. But anyway, just wanted to get this updated. So, all right, now let's hop back to where we were last year. All right, peace. Been quite a while. Just figured it'd be fun to document this as we're gonna try and swap this over pretty darn quick. This is our KAT hatch that we've never really shown too much, but it's like 100% rust-free. The rockers are rust-free. The frame rails are beautiful. The rear quarters are rust-free. It's like really, really good shell, but it has no title. And I'd really like to have a street car that you can go out and mess around, then just drive to the track or whatever as well. So this is got my old KAT out of my S14 today. Greg swapped it all over and got it all, you know, running and stuff like that. We put, you know, for the past couple track events, we got it running even better, and now it does run quite well. The clutch is, I think it needs a new clutch. The one in there is like the original one from like 2007 or 8 when I assembled all the parts, so it's like an old 6-puck competition clutch. This thing runs really well. It does everything really well. It's just a matter of getting it swapped over. So yeah, just fires right up. No weirdness. So yeah, taking a running car, and just putting it into another shell to make another running car. Alright, so now we are back up to real time. Everything's current. The motor has just been kind of sitting over there in the corner for the past year while I tried to figure out what the heck I was going to do. The black S13's gone. Plans kind of changed for where I was going to put this. As you can see, it's already partially stripped down. This because I lost everything that I already recorded yesterday when I was trying to transfer some files. So I'm trying to do like a little intro in the middle of it here. Just some history on this motor. Originally put it together in like 2006 and used AMS when they were selling 240 parts back in the day. The K1 rods and Aries 8.8 to 1 pistons, which those were like, that was all that was available. You know, just a few different manufacturers back then. Otherwise, the head is all stock cams. Just cleaned it up when I was going through it originally. Head gasket is a Felpro paper gasket, and originally I'd put on a Cometic multi-layer one, but this was back when people weren't so
familiar with what you had to do to run, I don't know, multi-layer steel gaskets on a KA, or I guess even an SR for that matter, since they kind of share the same design. But on this right here where the block meets the timing cover, I originally, when I machined the block, I never machined the front timing cover, and then when it came to start up, I had a huge oil leak right here. So after that I was just kind of scared, and I shaved the timing cover down and got it all you know, same height as the block, but I was still just scared of the gasket, so I just put a paper gasket on, and it never caused any issues. And I think they're good for like 400 horsepower anyway, which is more than this motor's ever made. So there's potential in the motor to, you know, do more, but I think we're just going to leave the head gasket as is for now. Originally I had a top mount Garrett T3 T4 you know, journal bearing 57 trim turbo. It had a 6.3 hot side on it with a rev hard cast top mount manifold, and that probably would have been a really fun setup now, but back then I didn't know how to drive, so it created just a, I don't know, the one time I did drive it, it created more frustration than, I guess, good time, just because it's a little bit larger turbo. At the time I was super stuck on trying to hit 400 horsepower, and I didn't make it, but for whatever reason, like, I was just like, I gotta make 400 horsepower. So I was trying to build everything to that, and that was before people realized, like, hey, build your car, or build you as a driver before you build your car. So now we got, oh, and then at the time it was running on Nistune, and we had Deechworks. I found a used set of Deechworks 740cc injectors back then, but those injectors and that turbo setup is obviously all gone. I sold all that stuff off a few years back, knowing that I wanted to re-switch it to something, or I wanted to switch it up to something a little more simple. So I ended up finding this is an HKS 2510 turbo I found on Yahoo. I had plans to put it on a car, or to put it on an SR. This is like an S13 model for an S13 drop-in. But I was going to put it on an SR in Japan. Never ended up using it. Always knew the K was here, was going to do a similar turbo setup, so I ended up sending it back. And then Greg put it on just an ISR manifold. So that was done within like 4 years ago. And then I've got some brand new Deechworks 740cc injectors. Well, I bought them new, but they were also they were at the same time as the turbo, so they're just a few years old. So that stuff's pretty much taken care of. It is still a mystery turbo. We've ran it a couple times with no weird smoke or anything like that, but the Yahoo description was just saying like they don't know anything about it, so it is somewhat of a crapshoot. Otherwise, yeah, it's, you know, it's a built block. Someday I'll do something maybe with cams or whatever if I redo the turbo setup. But my goal right now is just to leave the head and block at least together. I really want to redo how this looks. It's looking pretty awful. The turbo setup I might leave on there. I might pull it off and just check things out, but I don't really think I'm gaining much by pulling it off. At least not right now. So that is what it is. Otherwise, yeah, just gonna regasket some stuff. You know, new cap rotor plugs. Yeah, new gaskets, thermostats, only like a year or two old. But anyway, I just want to go through it, freshen things up a bit, and then hopefully have a solid platform to drop in. And the bottom side shows it better, but This is something I've always thought was pretty cool. I guess it's starting to wear a little bit there, but this is clear powder coat over just bead blasted stock intake manifold, and it really made it when it was freshly done years ago. It was really shiny. So we'll see how that cleans up. But yeah, I did the throttle body, I did the lower plenum. They're all super dusty, but all of the coolant passages, a lot of those steel lines here and the vacuum lines, I did all those in gloss black originally. I did broke the throttle body all the way down and did each part of the throttle body, so this was like gloss black, and then I made that clear coated to match the intake manifold. But yeah, I mean, years later, it's cool to see that it's in more or less pretty good shape, just wherever it got nicked. Maybe it got a little bit worn, but yeah, that's pretty darn neat to see. I did the brackets. Man, I spent a lot of time on this originally. It's kind of cool to see it apart after so long. So on this side, this is coolant. I'm going to do something with this PCV here. Thinking about some sort of catch can setup. Delete the PCV right now. This was one of the things I said to do back in the day. You know, with the million, you guys know the million catch can, how to route a catch can threads on the internet. I ended up doing no catch can. I just had the PCV going down to atmosphere. I can't remember if I drilled it out or if there's actually PCV in there. So it's probably doing really nothing. And then I had just a vent up on the valve cover. But I think I want to pull vacuum from both of these. We'll route those over to get rid of the PCV valve itself. Just leave it in an open port. Route those over to some catch can, and then pull vacuum from the intake to just help the engine breathe out a little better. But yeah, otherwise it's looking pretty darn good under here. What else? This super long. This was part of a kit for an oil. It was an oil line for your turbo, and it, just crazy long. And I put it on because I didn't really know what else to do at the time. But yeah, just like 3 or 4 feet of line, just crazy long. I don't know why I didn't make my own back in the day, but whatever. And here's the oil block. This was an issue. These are O-ring Boss ORB fittings. So I had to, you can see I ground these down, tried to make it flat spots where I could get a wrench on it to tighten them down. I'm pretty tempted to pull this block off and just weld on some dash 10 fittings if it'll work out okay. Because these have always been a pain in the butt, because if you try to take a line off, these will start spinning with your line. And once you have everything on there, you have zero clearance for accessing that really to tighten stuff back up. It came with some provisions for oil, sensors or whatever. So I had my oil feed there to my turbo, stock oil sensor there. I had to route this down because I believe whatever sensor, aftermarket gauge sensor I had into here for oil pressure, I believe it was hitting the stock one or something like that. But anyway, it's just plugged right now. So come up with a game plan for that, redo the PCV, maybe blast these and clean these up, blast these, clean these up. I don't know how crazy we'll get, but looking pretty good. In that prior video when it was still on the S13, I said the clutch was seemed like what was dying. So this is a competition clutch, like stage 4 clutch for the KA. That it was original when I put it on when I built the motor, so like 2006 or whatever, with not a ton of miles, a few events, but you can see that the disc got kind of like roached right there. Not like, it's low, but it just seemed like it just was not grabbing it's got some, heat marks and stuff on there. And the flywheel looks about the same. Alright, so we'll halt there with the KA and probably pick it up when we have some gaskets and can start putting stuff back on, or get a game plan together of how crazy I want to get cleaning up all those parts. I don't know, I'd really like to do it nice and just kind of go that next step from where I left off last time, but that all takes a lot of time. So, I don't know, we'll see. If the weather stays crappy, maybe that'll be the case because I can't get the car in here to work on it anyway. So anyway, alright, yep, catch you guys next time. Peace.